sure you're ready for this?
I'll do my best.
Your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's JD and the Rod, America's best soccer show. And we are in the building and ready to give you everything you need for American soccer glory. Jared Dubois with me as always. The coif, Jared. It's returning, right?
It's I think this may be the longest my hair has ever been.
Really?
And
Okay.
well, right now I am literally T-minus 2 business days from leaving on vacation, and I've gotten my COVID test. I got all my stuff ready so I can just go quarantine at a beach house instead of my house with a couple friends who have also been tested.
Oh,
And
You
I
guys
don't
are-
want to. I have to limit public exposure, so I can't go to the barber even though I need to.
this is like the MLS is back tournament of vacations in
Yes.
Southern California, is what you're telling me. Yeah, there's a
Yes.
protocol and everything.
Yes. So we have a few other couples that are going. A family. All the adults got tested inside the last couple of days. Results are in, looking good.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're gonna do this.
As long as you're being safe. Now, I imagine
Fine.
you'll have some sort of entertainment options at the beach. Like, I don't know, are the restaurants open? Can you do all that?
Just
Right.
be around humans is one of the awesome
Right.
things.
Well, you'll be around other humans, but you'll be in a pod situation, right? It's just
Yeah.
you guys. That means that probably you're going to be like playing board games and maybe some video games on the. I hope it's like one of those TVs with the knobs. I hope that's what the kind of TV you get at the beach is. Well, no, probably is. In my head, I want it to be like a knob TV with rabbit ears. Like you had to have. Remember, like when you hooked up your Nintendo back in the day, it had to have the adapter with the cable because of there was no VGA or whatever. Yeah. The reason I bring this up is because this week, as Major League Soccer gets ready for MLS is back to start on July 8th, we're getting some word as to what the NBA players who are expected to go to Orlando to play basketball games, Jared, what they're going to have at their disposal. They're going to have, apparently, live concerts, DJ sets, comedy shows, first run movies. They might even get Black Widow before anybody else gets to see it. And that's all incredible sort of levels of entertainment. And I haven't seen anything about the MLS players. And my guess is that the MLS players are going to get, like a Connect 4 that's missing some pieces. And, the Super Nintendo that you have to blow into the cartridge. Like that's what
So we're having a little technical difficulties at the moment, Jason. I have nothing coming from Jared. You can hear Jared apparently, but
so we're okay. We're doing this live.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a behind the scenes situation. Okay.
sorry.
We're doing this live. Jared's mic is not going out over the air, apparently. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. It's a bad thing. But I can hear Jared. We can hear Nikki Soup and Sausage, and I'm recording this for us for posterity. So the podcast can continue. We can continue to record this. All right, Jared left and came back. I don't know if that's going to be.
That was weird. I had you and I were talking, having a full-on conversation, and
We're good
not
now.
sure what's over there.
Got him
Okay,
back.
well, our producer Nikki Supins. This is what's lovely about doing this as a live event on a Wednesday night, as opposed to like recording this at our leisure whenever we want.
I think people crash the server. Everyone wants to talk Winalda, and we're here on a live right as the news drops, and there's just too many people that want to talk about that action and that news.
Okay, you want to move on to Winalda? I suppose that's the breaking news this evening, right? Eric Winalda out as Las Vegas Lights manager, kind of definitely out of the blue. Like, how do you go and get fired during a quarantine?
How you get fired on your day off?
Already? How do you get fired on your day off? This is what's going on here. I don't.
Got the coordinate.
That's the wrong. Actually, I should have done this one.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes.
That's the better movie reference because that's actually
That
from
is.
Friday. The other
That's
one
actually from the movie, yeah.
Yeah. So
Eric Ronaldo though. So here's the thing, man. Like Okay, a couple things going on. Is USL announced any games?
they have announced they have an agreement with the players, but they haven't announced their schedule or anything like that.
Okay, so obviously, Winalda, I think, is probably one of the bigger chunks of cash, laying around. If from a coaching standpoint, not do anything, no revenue coming in. Is it he's too expensive to afford, or?
Yeah. I have a question. Should I text Eric Winalda right now to see if he'll explain to us live on a podcast what happened out in Vegas? Or
you can. Let's see if he wants to.
I'll get an answer. Like, should I make that move? Here, you vamp for 2 seconds. I'm going to send Eric Winalda.
Okay, well, a couple of things that could be out there. First of all, I mean, a few tweets out there, somewhat conservative leaning. Maybe that's not sitting well with the ownership. Anytime you decide to take a stance politically, you're always putting yourself out there. Hopefully, free speech isn't an issue, and that's one of the reasons why he's there. But also, if you're hiring Eric Winalda, you know what you're getting. You're getting a guy that's not going to hold back, that's going to speak his mind, and what he speaks his mind on from time to time may ruffle some feathers and make people feel awkward around the U.S. soccer landscape. So if that's what it is, I would be surprised at this point, because you're buying the whole package when you get him. Other thing is, 8th place, I mean, only a couple of games into the USL season, 8th place right now, not in a bad position. So it doesn't look like it's potentially a performance issue. And if I remember correctly, Las Vegas Lights had a pretty good season last year, right, Jason?
They had a decent season last year. I can't remember. I think they ended up missing the playoffs, if I remember correctly. Now,
but if you were going to make that move, you'd make in the offseason between the two, not a couple of games into a weirdly postponed season. That doesn't seem like it would be a performance from last year kind of move. And if you were going to make this move, you make it at the beginning of the quarantine session so you can make plans for what you're going to do when you come back with a new coach and technical director. He's both there.
Look, the opportunity for speculation is wide open, right? Because of the timing of when this happened, because it happened during a quarantine where no games are ongoing, and as you said, it's not a performance issue. You're not going to carry over upset over last year's results and fire him now. There's got to be something. And I mean,
listen, also, who knows what's going on right now? He's been, I believe he lives in California still, right? I'm not sure if he's living in Vegas.
Well, I think he had made the transition to Vegas. I had an opportunity to talk to him, I don't know, a couple months ago during the quarantine, actually, about, I can't remember what the subject matter was. It wasn't the lights. It was about the first MLS game in history when he scored the goal for the Clash. And he was in Vegas, and it seemed like they were pretty settled.
Yeah, because I was wondering then if it was just maybe a split time, Vegas, California, and he may have been in California a lot during the quarantine. It was just time to make that move, and Vegas was in the right place. But maybe that's not it then. If he was already there, and it's not like it's a big commute. There's a lot further distances that people would have to travel, that 3 hours, 4 hours going back and forth. It can make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a deal breaker from Eric Winalda's side. And again,
you think he's got a better offer somewhere else?
Well, no. So you're characterizing this as a parting of ways. Now, sometimes
There's
hear
nothing to say otherwise.
Jeff Reuter's reporting is that he was fired. I'm just saying that.
Who said that? I'm sorry.
The reporting is he was fired. There are reporters.
I read from the Vegas statement. It's not written in that.
Oh yeah, because the statement from the team is always something like, "We had a difference of opinion," or "He is no longer going to continue. We wish him the best." That's always the cover, right? Nobody flames a coach going out unless.
Here's the thing, man. It's a tense environment right now, man. For those people that are outspoken in the past, you got a lot more leeway than you might be getting right now. So I don't know if he has said anything. No one knows.
Well, that's not fair for us. But that's not fair for us to jump into that.
Absolutely, area. But there is a dynamic right now out there in the sporting atmosphere where it's like, and not just sporting, any professional atmosphere. It's tolerance is this much right now.
Okay, I don't want to get into an argument about semantics. That's probably not the right thing for us to do. I will say that, there are probably some organizations who are taking a hard look at themselves. And while some of this may be for PR reasons or for business reasons, there are organizations who are thinking, okay, maybe we're doing the wrong thing. I can't say what the Las Vegas Lights have done and why they've done it. And I don't know. I don't know.
Wild speculation on my part. Things that could happen. Maybe they wanted him to take a pay cut. A lot of organizations and companies are doing that right now. Say, hey, need you to take a 20% pay cut right now, 30% pay cut right now. We'll get you back on the next year or something like that. And maybe he wasn't willing to do something like that. There's options out there that it's not like the CBA. He's not in a coaches union that has to certain standards have to be held or anything like that, or have organized as a group or negotiate as a group.
Well, so the timing, as I mentioned, the timing of this is that the USL, apparently, per Jeff Carlisle of ESPN, the USL and the USL Players Association had come to a deal on salaries, payments, money for the remainder of the year as they try to get back on the field. MLS had to do this obviously with their players union. How much of a pay cut are you going to take because we're not making any money? USL is even more dependent on their ticket revenues than Major League Soccer. So for them, it was necessary to negotiate some sort of pay cut for the individual teams who are independent, or in most cases independent, whereas Major League Soccer is kind of, they're all supporting each other in the single entity situation. So the timing of that, meaning that at some point very recently, the Las Vegas Lights were part of a negotiation in which, or were party to a negotiation in which the players said, we're going to take this much of a pay cut. And the Lights may have said, okay, well, we're going to pay our players this much. Can we still pay our coach? Is it right to pay our coach his full salary? Or we've already lost this much money. Now we have cost certainty for the remainder of the year. We also need to cut at the coaching level. And they went to Eric, and he said, no. I mean, again, it's wild speculation.
Yeah, no idea. But these are just the possible things that are going on in the atmosphere right now in a COVID quarantine kind of environment. These are the things that are being talked about, and who knows if that's what it is in the end. By the way, guys, we'll be opening up the phones about 3-4 minutes, 717-727-BEST. If you want to get in, talk about the Eric Winalda I don't know, she's say sacking, resignation, whatever it is right now. Who knows exactly what it is? But if you have a take on it, if you got an opinion on it, we'll be opening the phones in just a couple of minutes, and feel free to call in and let us know what you think.
Yeah. Go ahead and get in line here if you want to talk about or you want to talk about MLS is back and what's coming in Orlando. And I'm having some fun with what the MLS players are going to get for entertainment as opposed to the NBA players, because there's a little bit of a different level. There is a little bit of chafing over the whole quote unquote lockdown situation of these players being quarantined, sequestered in a.
Have you got an answer to or does Orlando have to be quarantined as well? Does Orlando have to be at the hotels as well? Do their players have to do that as well?
I believe our friend Freddie in the JD and the Rod Slack said that they do have to also go to the hotel. I don't think they're going to give them a pass. I think the only people that are going to be able to leave, go back and forth between the resort and home are the people who work in the resort. So that's the thing. Did you see, Jared, speaking of this tournament, did you see Doug McIntyre's story at Yahoo Sports on the potential challenges for MLS when it comes to the behavior of young men?
I only heard about it. I did not read it myself, so I'm third hand. So for listeners who may not have read it actually in detail as well, why don't you let us know?
Okay. Do you want me to? I'm going to be blunt here. I don't have time.
Listen, if it's good enough for Yahoo Sports, it's good enough for this program.
Well, okay. I mean, Doug McIntyre wrote
Doug McIntyre's
way. Yeah. He also had some quotes from doctors, from Yahoo Sports medical consultant.
To quote the great Chris Elliott, you got to get the baby batter off the brain.
Okay. Yeah, it's in that direction. It's basically like, these dudes are going to be horny, and they might do things because of that horniness that would cause a problem.
Here's the thing, though. You always hear about fighters. You come out with some tenacity. You abstain for weeks before your fight.
Yeah, that's the rumor. That's the legend, right? Is fighters are not supposed to have sex for a couple weeks before the fight because it saps your legs. But that's what
imagine the temptation, though. Okay, the regular temptation: someone coming in from a team from Portland, coming across the country, Orlando, away from their wife for 6 weeks or partner for 6 weeks, but if you're an Orlando player, that booty call is just 3 miles away.
But they're not allowed to enter, right?
You're not allowed.
Is this like some dystopian future where people got to check ID? Like this group of people is only allowed in this area, and if you're not a level 4,
I'm just saying, you might know a homie that works at that hotel if you're local.
Well, this is exactly what they're saying.
Get a conjugal, you got to get a conjugal.
This is and by the way, it's not just sex that gets mentioned in this article. Doug McIntyre absolutely lays out what if these dudes want to smoke some weed? Like that comes up in the article. So,
where does the league stand on that now?
By the way,
Playing hot dogs and donuts with two fangirls in the locker room.
There it is right there. It's laid out for you. Tony Bravo knew all about it. Where's the league stand on marijuana use? I believe it's discouraged or it's not allowed, even though it's legal in some states.
So California, Colorado, is it enforced?
I do believe I think they do drug tests for marijuana. That's my understanding. I think it's still stupid. Because although it is legal, employers are still allowed to test for it, which makes no sense. I mean, they're not testing for alcohol consumption for most jobs. That's legal.
There's another thing. Are the players going to be allowed to go down to the hotel bar?
I would assume so. I don't know. The only thing I've seen, and originally Alejandro Bedoya expressed some reservations about being gone, but that was for the 2 month or 2.5 month period they were originally talking. Now it's 6 weeks, and the players seem to be a little bit happier with it. But Bill Hamid put some stuff on Twitter, which he then subsequently took down, which is basically like, we're some grown men. We don't need to be locked down. You should be trusting us. Why do we have to be on campus the entire time? Basically, we know how to use mask and social distance. But I understand what Bill Hamid he's saying, and I don't want to treat MLS players like children. But can you trust them? Like, can you actually trust them, Jared?
I'm not sure, man, but that's the kind of thing I'd like to take some phone calls on and get people's take on.
All right. Let's do that. Let's open up the phone lines at 717-727-2378, 717-727-BEST. Your thoughts about players in quarantine. Can they be trusted? If this was your child going to summer camp, Jared, how would you handle it?
Man, do we have any people under 18? Are there any players under 18 in the league right now?
Absolutely there are. There are under 21s and there are under 18s. And, there are a couple of players who have notoriously gotten in trouble.
Okay. Let me give you a pick your poison here on this, okay? Between two options.
All right.
First thing to come out of MLS is back tournament. The first story to leak. Will it be A, player get caught with a woman in their room or woman in the hotel? B, player caught underage drinking in the bar.
Okay. Continue.
Underage player at the bar. Okay. Or C, someone's smoke detector goes off in their room and there's evacuation because someone had to smoke a blunt.
Okay. I hope that no player is stupid enough to smoke a blunt in their room, but you don't know. I mean, that balconies exist for a reason, Jared. Like, you've been on spring break, you've been on, that's what balconies are for. And it is Orlando. It's not like you have to worry unless it's pouring down rain. You don't really have to worry about the weather.
Have you checked out the Dolphin Hotel at Disney World? Are there balconies? Are these rooms nice there? Are we talking about? Are they getting like the Rain Man suite, or what are they getting?
That's a good question. I don't know what the level is.
Is Chicharito getting the same room as like the entry level player? Like, does he have to have a roommate? Does he have to have a roommate?
That's a good question. I have not yet seen anything about roommates. It's 3,500 people total between the players, the staff, all of that. I don't know how you can put there. Are we
thinking one team per floor? Like each floor is a team and admin for like.
Well, this is another thing that I'm confused about. The NBA has different level, like they basically have different hotels, and you are in a hotel based on where you are in the standings. MLS obviously only played 2 games. You can't really seed teams. They seeded teams from last year's results, but they're not treating them differently as far as I'm aware in terms of accommodation.
Half the teams to Orlando give Lakers a trophy. I know how it goes.
Yeah. Okay, sure. If you really want to.
Jay Rodius.
I mean, it's the same thing for the NBA, right? Like, is LeBron James staying in the same joint as the 12th man, like, or the 11th guy on the bench? Like, I just don't know if that's the case. Like,
it would be interesting, man. I would love to start. There's gonna be some things that are gonna come out. Here's the thing: you might be cool with that for a night or two. Week 5 or week 6, when your roommate's got his dirty draws all over the room, and you hear Chicharito's got a hot tub in his,
right?
Like, come on, dude. There's gonna be some issues up in here.
We've heard some stories about players on the road, about habits. Look, let's come back here, okay? And I know again this is dangerous territory, and maybe we keep it PG as much as we can. But if you are not out in the world trying to find gratification with another human being, if you're not going to defy your lockdown,
you're going to need a lock on your bathroom.
You're going to need some private time, right? Like, and there is only so much space.
And here, let's be honest. I'm going to take a moment just to look at the camera and talk to all those young players in the league right now. Okay. So you guys,
Uncle Jared,
I know you're used to a digital medium for when you need stimuli. Okay.
Where's this going?
I'm going to let you know. You may want to invest in an old technology we call magazines.
Wait. Why?
Because you don't want to be caught with the sound going on or something like that, and your roommate's in the other room.
I thought you were saying that MLS is going to be spying on their web history.
No. I'm saying, man, if you got to get your freaky, and you don't be caught with like your phone on and like you forgot to put it on mute, and then your guys in the other room, what's he doing in there?
No, look, obviously you and I grew up in an era where that material was like gold. Like, it was, it was the holy grail
Oh yeah.
If you could
I
have
found some in a field one time, and I thought I had just hit like a pot of gold. I literally found a magazine in a field.
That's hilarious.
And I
That's
touched
funny.
it.
Yeah, of course. And then you're the hero for the neighbor.
That was
Did you share?
pre-COVID.
Did you
Huh?
share, or was that
No, that was
personal?
private usage.
Nobody knew about that except for
Nah.
old Jared Dubois. If I had grown up in your neighborhood and 20 years after the fact, I found out you had that material and you did not share that with me or let me borrow that material, I would be angry with you.
I don't understand those that are like a homie kind of thing. That ain't a homie kind of thing to me, you know?
That's not a share. You're not going to do a library situation back and forth.
There's a lot of things that could be homie time. That ain't one of them,
I'm
man.
not saying that you use it. I'm saying that it moves from house to house based on, some sort of organized loaning system. I'm not. What are you
Man, this was before there was like an app that could have helped you with that, man.
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
I was going to say though, like that stuff was worth its weight in gold. If you didn't have that, you were all up here, right?
I'm just saying, like, I know you all Xbox in your bag and all this stuff. Maybe throw a magazine in there. Just maybe you throw a magazine in there. Just keep it old school.
Do you think that they would go like? Who goes out to buy them? What do you do? Can you order them and get them sent to your house?
I don't even know where you would get that kind of technology anymore.
Brown paper bags, like that's a thing they still do, right?
Yeah,
like
bodegas.
Well, bodegas definitely exist, and nobody cares about what you do in a bodega. Like that's, yeah, you could be completely incognito, and most players are barely noticeable and recognizable anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right?
I'm just, like I said, I'm interested to see what the dynamic's going to be because, like, road trips, these teams are used to traveling together, having roommates, but that's like 2-3 days a week if you're like really on a long trip, 6 weeks, dude.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time, and again,
there ain't a homie in there. There's gonna be some chemistry issues by the end of this dang thing.
There might be some issues at some point. That's one of those X factors for how you handicap this thing. Like we don't know how people are going to get along in these close quarters. We don't know if there's going to be some jealousy because Chicharito's got a hot tub and he's got Dom on ice and the rest of these guys are slumming. Like Miller High Life for you, dude. Sorry. Like, I don't know. And, that there is that factor of misbehavior that certainly could come into this. I saw somebody asking today, I think it was, I can't remember who was talking about it, but is this idea of the higher risk categories. Who's in the higher risk if they happen to get COVID or it spreads through the
people
the
that are
bubble?
immunodepressed?
The older people, right?
Oh,
Not just the players who have maybe
the staff. Yeah, for sure.
Well, the coaches. I mean, there are some coaches who are over. Bob Bradley's 62. Okay, I'm not saying that he's going to get it. He's the dude is made of wire. Like,
dude, I would take Bob Bradley in a fight over some of the players.
No, sure, absolutely. All right, let's go to the phone line, Jared, because we have David in Orlando. We got an inside source. He is a Disney guy. He works at Disney. He's going to help.
Oh, here we go now.
David, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, guys. I work at Disney, not for Disney, at least. I'm a contractor. I'm a physician for the Disney employees.
Oh, okay.
And they are they're all starting to come back a little bit, but we're hoping this influx of MLS and NBA guys doesn't mess us all up over here in Orlando.
Okay, as a physician, David, do you have concerns, the ones that we just brought up, the ones in that Doug McIntyre story about bad behavior on the part of the players, like maybe trying to break out and
ruining it for the rest of you, to be honest?
What'd you say?
Ruining it for the rest of them, to be honest.
Sure, there could be one or two guys does something wrong, it could bring the whole thing down.
The bad behavior of bringing a magazine in so they don't mess up their roommate's sleep.
That's good behavior.
That's good behavior.
Go, Jared. The audio matters. I don't know. You're like discounting it, but it matters.
Well, here's the so as someone that works in the medical side of the park, like, were you guys, or was there talk with the on-site physicians, like stuff like that, about this process? Like, was there internal dialogue about this, or are you even allowed to talk about it?
No, they wouldn't have gone us because we're not contracted like that. They would have brought in their own folks and whatnot. But I mean, if they can keep it a closed loop, then they'll be okay. But it's just like anything that when you're talking about quarantine, quote unquote quarantine, if somebody gets out and somebody goes down on OBT or hangs out on 192 or something like that, and then comes back into there and brings something in, then the whole thing was for nothing.
So, Dave, tell us about these hotels. Are you familiar with the two hotels that they're going to be using?
Yeah, you said Dolphin and which else?
Dolphin, and I can't remember what the other one is, man. I'm sorry. There's two of them, but let's assume they're both like Dolphin. You familiar with that one?
Yeah, so there's Swan and Dolphin. They're right next to each
that's
other.
the two. That's it.
I guess it makes sense because they're probably putting the NBA guys in the Grand Floridian or these the high end ones, and then there's the Swan and Dolphin, which they're fine.
So you're saying we got the days in? We got the days in of the Disney World.
They got to go down the hall. They got to go outside to get to the ice machine, right? That's where.
This is where Clark Griswold put the coins in to the bed.
That's hilarious.
At least not that bad, but it's they're fine.
Okay, so we're not talking luxury though.
No, not luxury.
Okay. All right.
Nice enough.
All right.
So let me ask you another question though. As an employee and a contractor on site, do you maybe be able to think you can get close to where the games are and from far away maybe watch a little?
You didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully. Probably not. I value my job too much to run over there probably.
Okay. All right. So he's gonna check his behavior, Jared.
Yeah, the temperature thing is going to be nuts, though. Seriously, I know you guys talked about it before too, but like even that early morning game when it ends, it's going to be brutal at 10, 11 in the morning like that.
Yeah, and it's funny that the Premier League came back today, right, Jared? And they're even doing water breaks in the Premier League, and it's like 65 degrees and raining in England today. So, how many water breaks can you jam in? You only get one every half, right?
I'm starting to think now. With the odds came out, and we'll probably talk about that in a little bit. The odds of who could win of groups and the whole thing down there. I'm going straight chalk, weather chalk. Who knows how to play in the heat?
Ooh, okay.
That's weather chalk. I'm saying
hold on. Are you
California,
going
Texas?
Player by player, or you're going team like
team?
Okay, but I'm saying like some of these players, even if they play in Florida and Texas, and they might be pretty new to the league. They haven't been through a summer yet in those environments. You don't know. They might not be accustomed to it.
Right.
I'm willing to take that bet.
I will.
Okay. David? Do you think in your expert medical opinion, do you think FC Dallas or Orlando or I guess Miami, they're a brand new team, or Atlanta has an advantage because of because they're more accustomed to the swampy nature of a southern summer?
Probably not Atlanta since they play indoors for the game times, right? And then Miami is brand new. Maybe Orlando, but it's Orlando. I love them, but it's Orlando. As long as we beat Miami, I'm fine with losing all the rest of the games in this tournament. We already know how to lose to Atlanta, but I guess as long as we can beat Miami.
I have to pull up the groups again, Jared. I don't even have them in front of me. So handicapping the groups is an interesting topic here. All right, David, anything else you want to give us? Parting shots before I let you go?
Just a big full mingo from you.
Okay, there it is. Shout out to Ford Madison. I'm not wearing the jersey today. I'm wearing an Atlanta jersey and rubbing in the fact that his team has never beaten Atlanta United. My bad, David. Didn't know you were coming on the show tonight,
bro. But I got the scarf back there though, right? On the
there might be one somewhere. Yeah, there's a couple.
Ford
Yeah,
Madison,
yeah, that's right over. That is right over this one. Over this one. There you go. Appreciate it, David. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I didn't want to drown out David, but I do have something I wanted to something I wanted to bring back here because we came up with some lyrics, right?
I can't remember what it was.
It's so much to share. Okay, I'm looking at the lyrics. It's a small world after all. It's an MLS. What was it? Single
entity after all.
All right, it's enough of that. We're not singing on
You're
this.
locked in a room and you can't find a girl. You're sneaking
you only have a
on the
magazine
balcony.
because you forgot to bring a magazine, like Uncle Jared said. You're 17.
But here's the thing, man. I'm gonna admit it. I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited for this. Nick, you just because you have no chance of winning. That's why you're shaking your head right now, dude. Like, I'm kind of excited. So, Nick, what's your feeling? How come you're not excited for it?
I'm not excited for it because MLS paired us with two teams we've already played this year. We played New York Red Bulls week 1. We played Atlanta United week 2. boring. I want to see some new teams. Damn it.
Do the skirt.
You don't want, you're not happy for Hell is Real to happen in Orlando?
No, I don't care.
Why not? Why not? That's rivalry. That's juice, man. That's that hatred that you share with the other Ohioan people or whatever.
It's juice.
Nah, I don't care. I don't care. But when the draw ended, I already knew that FC Cincinnati was 0-3 and their summer was over early.
Come on, man. You don't want to see Yap Stam out there sweating like a pig, the Dutchman?
Oh, I do. He will. I'm just saying the draw sucked.
Okay, here's the interesting thing we haven't talked about.
What is Yap Stam's drink of choice? I wonder. What do you
I'm not sure, but it might be Amstel Light.
No, come on. That's a Scott dude, right?
No, here's the real topic that we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
We've seen the poor choices that coaches have made of clothing where they live now.
Oh yeah,
like what is going to be like the bad clothing in Florida choice? You know,
is a low key big storyline for this tournament. Is Bob Bradley going to really roll out in his double black out in Orlando?
You going to rock a turtleneck? I don't think so, man. Like,
well, Bruce is done because he's always been a turtleneck and blazer dude, and that's definitely.
I have seen Bruce rock the shorts. Like in practice, he'll rock shorts with cleats. Like
I feel like everybody's going to either go Dom Kinnear or you can't. Like I hope.
I'm worried for the safety of some of these coaches, man.
Well, there might be some health concerns, but I think like I'm worried that Lucci and Ben Olsen and
my man already shaved his head. He was ready.
Who? Ben Olsen?
No, San Jose.
Yeah, he did. I don't know what brain fart on the name of the coach, Matias Almeida. Matias Almeida is he did shave his. He did it like 2 months ago. He's probably got a full head of hair again. Probably down his shoulders. It's been like 2 months.
We'll show you what 2 months can do.
I'm thinking about these coaches that are proven to be high quality fashionistas, and suddenly they're going to have to dress for comfort, and it's going to be sad, Jared. We're not going to have. We're gonna have that shine.
Listen, there's a way to look classy and be weather appropriate. I mean, I just don't want to see mandals.
Okay, hold on.
I don't want to see any mandals.
Let's break it down. I do want to get to these odds, and we have a hypothetical I'm gonna throw at you. I haven't prepared for this hypothetical for you at all. It could bomb, but I got something for you here coming up. But tell me, what is the Jared Dubois? Let's talk to Jared Dubois. Okay.
Jay Rodius.
A man who, let's be honest, okay, inaugurated the discussion about coaching fashion in Major League Soccer. Now, you can go talk to people at MLS Soccer.com. They've been running polls for a couple years, but my man Jared was the first one to bring this into opinion. He was the one who said, let's be looking at these coaches and what they're wearing because it matters.
Mike Petke owes me half his salary. Which is not right now. I don't know where he's doing, but when he was coaching, Mike Petke,
half his settlement. No. Sorry. So tell me you're a Southern California guy. You know, maybe it's not humid.
Here's what I'd like to see a coach rocking. Okay.
Here we go. I'm ready for this.
Go with like a linen khaki short.
Linen khaki short. What length are we talking about here? Because things tend to run a little shorter than.
I would like to see a high knee. High knee, not below the knee,
but like a 2-inch.
If you're seeing thigh, there's a problem, but you do want to see the knee.
Okay, all right, and we're talking about a slim short, right? We're not talking
sure.
We
want a slim short.
These some are people maybe not. You said linen, so we want to make sure that these are okay.
You want linen. You want to breathe.
You want them to breathe, right? You want a slim profile and you want them to breathe. Okay, let's move on. The shorts are taken care of. What's next?
Top.
Okay,
it's a very simple button down. It's very similar to like a Cubano, but not a Cubano because unless you're from Orlando, you're trying too hard. In Florida, Orlando and Miami's coaches, they can wear Cubano if they like. Okay, but that style, you're talking about like that, like short sleeve cocktail shirt. You know, gotta get a print. Have a print. Have a couple flamingos. Like have a palm tree on it.
Just don't. I don't think you have to be careful about verging into full Hawaiian territory.
Not Hawaiian.
Okay, so
especially with like the boogaloo craze going on right now.
Not. Yes, that is a dangerous area that we don't want to.
I'm talking like a throwback cocktail shirt.
Okay. Yeah. Look, a breathable. Yeah, obviously you want this to breathe as well. It's a full
for sure. You want it usually has like a little notch in the sleeve right here. You know, like
sure. Why not?
So you're rocking that on top. You got a good pair of sunglasses. There shouldn't be a damn coach out there without sunglasses.
Absolutely not. Have to be wearing sunglasses. Yeah.
And then the footwear. This is where it's going to get challenging for a lot of coaches.
This is going to be dicey.
This is going to be hard because they're going to have that instinct where I'm wearing shorts. I better have some cleats on or something, or I better wear gazelles or sambas. Like you're a coach now.
Hold on. You're putting the kibosh on the copas and the sambas.
Listen, if you're wearing trackers, I mean trainers and stuff like that, whatever you want to wear. If you're wearing an actual like warm up
would you be on board for someone to do a full sneakerhead move and go really with something?
Yeah, if you're gonna go full Dom Kinnear, go wear that stuff. Okay. But if you're gonna actually try to bring it up to the right level, here I'm gonna say two kinds of shoe are appropriate. I'm gonna give permission for an actual flip flop.
No,
here's the thing. Here's some caveats.
There's no caveat for a flip flop.
You're in Florida, dude.
No, I'm saying you're on the sideline coaching a soccer game. There's no caveat.
Have some flavor, man.
Flip flops are for the pool.
I'm giving you two choices. You can wear a flip flop. It can't be banded. You can't have it has to be between the toes. It can only be one buckle, like no buckles. I'm sorry, one band.
Whatever,
right? Can't have a heel. Nothing across your heel. That's a mandal. You can't have anything on your heel.
You're talking about a standard Havaiana flip flop,
and you can't have sock on it. No socks.
No, of course not. No,
here's the other. I think for some people we have to clarify that.
My wife has almost divorced me a couple times because my feet were cold and I put on flip flops.
Oh,
and she was like, what's happening? Socks and flip flops? Who are you? Why did I marry you? Yes, I'm angry. Yes, none of that.
You probably leave her shirt on during too. God.
I cannot abide by the flip flop. You're a one man show.
I'm just letting you know if it is acceptable. Two. If you're not going to do that, and that's too much for you, and I understand if it is, not everyone's proud of their feet.
I need to hear from the people. I need to hear from the people whether or not flip flop is appropriate on the sideline.
I'm just saying it goes with the outfit.
What's the other option here?
The other option is a non-sock short shoe, like a Vans style, but not Vans, but you know what I'm talking about. That, it's got to be under the ankle cut,
like boat shoes kind of thing,
boat shoe kind of style, something like that.
Yeah, something that Stuart Holden
sock
would wear.
Or a sock you can't see, one of those two.
Yeah, something Stuart Holden would wear. Go with that, right?
For sure.
Okay.
Look at Stuart Holden any day of the week. You can wear what he's wearing, other than in the studio because he's got a suit on. If you see him casually, John Legend approves of him. Okay,
I feel like you could go with linen or something breathable and still get away with the suit. Now you're going to sweat. But here's the thing: you're going to sweat regardless, right?
Have you ever been the best man in a summer wedding and they were hot?
Not the jacket, but you could probably go with rolled sleeves and some some Stuart Holden style. They cut off of the ankle. They give you a little extra skin to breathe. I'm just saying.
I mean, you could, but I think you're going to be wet, like stains. Like you're going to have stains by the 20-minute mark.
Regardless. And by the way, if I was out there coaching, it really wouldn't matter what I was wearing.
This tournament should be sponsored by Johnson & Johnson, man. There's going to be so much talcum powder. Like there's going to be a lot of crotch rot by the end of these 6 weeks.
Which one of these coaches? Now there's 26 of them. I don't expect you to remember everyone off the top of your head. We haven't had soccer in 3 months. Which one is most likely to discuss this with a fashion consultant before they get on that plane to go to Orlando? Which one?
Some of the good ones aren't around anymore, though, man. Damn. Okay. First of all, Greg Berhalter, who'll be scouting, will do it.
Yes, he'll talk to somebody about what he should wear.
I think he might. I think he cares.
Do you think in Europe has a fashion consultant on retainer? Maybe
I think he tries. I'm not sure if he always pulls off, but I think he tries.
I think he works. I think he does take some. Not risks necessarily, but he moves beyond the sort of standard boring.
I would say Ben Olsen, but I think he has enough flavor. But here's the thing: he's really good at cold weather fashion. I don't know if he pulls off the warm weather fashion.
He tends to be more of a dress down, trainers and that guy.
Local guy, Oscar Pareja, ain't gonna do it. That dude's a trainers dude, polo shirt, like with his team logo. He's never gonna do anything like that.
Okay. I think there's a couple of wild cards in here, and some of the new coaches.
I would say, Bob Bradley's not going to do it.
Just based on where he coaches, and Diego Alonso may have, and he's in Miami.
Savarese might.
Who?
Savarese
might have a fashion consultant. I don't know. Maybe.
Nick's got to take.
Well, I personally don't have a take, but the chat room is screaming for Thierry Henry.
Oh my God! What are we doing? What are we doing?
No, he's also French and has a sense of style on his own.
Come on, you can't just discount the man. He's French, so of course.
No, that's not a discount. I'm saying he has an innate fashion sense. He may not need a consultant.
High as hell, man.
Yeah, he's going to look great, whatever he wears.
Oh, man. His sunglasses are going to cost more than every other coach's outfit.
His sunglasses are going to cost more than the combined salaries of the team he puts on the field.
And you think you're going to cage Thierry Henry for 6 weeks? That bird needs to fly. You can't cage that man for 6 weeks.
I also think TT might be the kind of guy who, when he's not coaching, training's done, no games, whatever, after the game, he's the one in the dark corner at the hotel bar. He's the one that convinces them to keep the bar open.
I've got a better idea. Game. And I
Oh,
want
that'd be
someone to
amazing.
film it.
So this is the other thing, right? And I do
You're
want
gonna
to
be bored, right?
So are we going to get a real world kind of situation here? Like, are we getting full access? Are we going to get Big Brother?
Here's the thing: if they don't, they're missing a really good opportunity to expose us to the personalities and the lifestyle of what's going. If you're not capturing something that's extra out of this, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me you wouldn't watch a 5-a-side coaches pickup game.
Oh, 100%.
And you could even make 4 teams, and if you include the assistant coaches and like all the assistant coaches, and they could play like a round robin tournament after hours.
I need to look at the list of coaches because again, I'm gonna miss somebody.
Ezra Hendrickson, you got Chris Armas.
Well, I'm talking about head coach. Well, Armas is head coach. I'm talking about
head coach.
coaches only. So you obviously could throw.
You're talking just head coaches?
Well, no. There should be room for assistants, but I was just in my head. I was like, okay,
man, Precky's an assistant on Seattle. Precky, man.
Precky is yeah. Precky has to be involved.
Okay. New game. New game.
Do I need some sort of sound effect to?
No, get a coaches list in front of you.
Okay, I got it right here.
Here's the game. We are going to pick our coaches team drafting.
You want to draft it right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Or do you want to do it in the bonus show?
Oh man, I like the impromptu nature of this. Let's save it for the bonus show. People,
okay.
If you're not a Patreon subscriber, Patreon.
Frank DeBoer is out there.
Frank DeBoer's out there. Yeah, absolutely. Yop Stam is just joined the league. All right.
Oh my God, dude, this is gonna be nuts.
Okay, so we're gonna pick a 5-a-side team from coaches for the Atlanta tournament. Hopefully they'll pick up on this idea. Again, Jared started.
This might be too good, man. We could put this behind a wall for the people.
Yeah. All right. I want to just pause here and shift gears.
All right.
This is going to be. I told you earlier today that I had a hypothetical, and I think we should mix in a little bit of national team talk, even though they're still a ways off.
What's a national team?
We don't know what the format's going to be for CONCACAF qualifying. There's that. So, to take
I think there's more likely to be a nationalist team these days.
But I saw a comment somewhere. Wait, what? What?
Danger zone.
No. Okay. No. I saw a comment somewhere recently. It said, "Oh my gosh, if Jermaine Jones had been on the 2010 U.S. men's national team, how much better would they have been?" Now, the part of the reason to think about this is, remember, we started Rico Clark against
Rico Clark. Yeah, I mean, Bradley is Bradley's the main position still. So you're not too different than your 2014 team in terms of you saw Bradley and Jones play together.
Sure. But what this person is saying is that 2010 team was set up to win the group, which they did. The Algeria goal, which is we're 10 years anniversary this summer, and then they went into that game against Ghana. How much? And Rico Clark makes a bad mistake in the first 20 minutes of that game, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Gives Ghana a goal. The United States claws back, whatever. But who knows if? And even if it's not necessarily, even if you don't necessarily agree with the premise that the United States men's national team in 2010 would have been much better with Jermaine Jones in that midfield, it did get me thinking. And he's an interesting case, right? Because he was already a developed in his prime player in 2010.
Prime Shaka.
He just wasn't eligible for the United States yet. He hadn't made the switch.
He was probably, 25 at that point? 26?
23, 24 probably at that point. I have to go look it up. But it got me thinking, if you take a version of the U.S. men's national team, and it's best usually to grab a team that was in a World Cup year. Obviously, in 2018, they failed to qualify, but you could certainly pick that cycles team if you wanted. And you're allowed to pick one player that was not in that team from the World Cup prior or the World Cup after. Now, the question is whether or not you have to imagine that player at that time in the same, like, for example, if you wanted to say the 2006 team would have been much better if they had, I don't know, Josie Altidore up top. I'm not saying that they would have been, but Josie wasn't ready in 2006, right? He was way too young. So that's kind of maybe a cheat. But if you wanted to say, well, that 2006 team would have been much better if they had, give me a 2010 player who was great that summer.
2010, Dempsey. Oh wait, Dempsey was on the 2006.
He was on the 2006 team and he played, but he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't the same.
Let's see.
Got to be somebody who wasn't on that team, but who was, or you could go back a cycle. So you can either pick from 2002 or from 2010 for that 2016 that ultimately.
I mean, if I remember correctly, 2006, didn't we play Eddie Lewis at left back? Isn't that part of the problem? That tournament. I'm trying to remember because I think he had converted because he was playing left winger in 2002, and I think he had converted to 2006 left back, and that was a problem.
That may have been
for
the
us.
case. Yeah.
So I would say the left back at 2002, David Regie and Jeff Agus. So I'm not sure that that's necessarily a straight.
You're just going to go for a positional deficiency in the team to pick out a player you would pull back or pull.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where we had problems in 2006. I mean, the midfield controlling the ball, winning the ball was not a big deal because you had.
Here's a good one. Okay, look, and Michael Bradley was pretty good in 2010, and I'm not taking anything away from him. And again, maybe it's a different.
Can I switch the same player?
What are you saying?
Can I have 2002 John 2006?
2002 who?
John O'Brien in 2006. Because he made that roster, if I remember correctly, but he didn't play much.
You're basically asking for John O'Brien to be healthy in 2006. That's all you're.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
You're imagining a world in which John O'Brien was healthy in 2006. I don't know. I just thought about this, and maybe it needs a little bit more refinement. But I think Jermaine Jones is such an interesting example. I mean, you could go with a number of different players who sort of came into the picture already established, and imagine, well, what if we had included them the tournament before?
I mean, center backs 2006. You're looking at Eddie Pope, Jimmy Conrad. I'm trying to think. Greg Berhalter. I think those are your three main center backs.
In 2010, you had Jay DeMerit,
Gooch, and Bocanegra.
Well,
I think the Bocanegra swap might be worth saying something.
Gooch was not healthy in 2010 because he had just ruptured his meniscus or torn his meniscus.
Yeah, it was the tournament of Bocanegra and DeMerit. I think you could make the case, and here's the reason why I would say Bocanegra perhaps over one of the others. I don't think you're taking Eddie Pope out, but between Jimmy Conrad, who actually I think had a pretty good World Cup if I remember correctly on that, and Greg Berhalter, is that I think Bocanegra in a tournament where they struggled for offense, Bocanegra was one of the best set piece center backs that we've had. And I think there's an opportunity perhaps to steal a goal in a game when you're relying on set pieces instead of run of open play.
Yeah.
I think Bocanegra maybe gives you an opportunity for a goal somewhere in that tournament.
Okay. I think that's probably fair. Again, I think there aren't a lot. The problem with the U.S. men's national team is even if you go forward a cycle or back a cycle, there's not always a ready-made replacement in that spot. So in 2010,
I'm trying to find a way to get Robbie Finley out of 2010 and into 2006, right?
That's where my brain went, right? Is you didn't have Charlie Davies because he was hurt. They Bob Bradley brings in Robbie Finley, who is not even
Buttle and Eddie Johnson.
Yeah. So I don't even know who Hercules Gomez in 2014, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
2010, sorry.
On fire in Mexico, they're going into that.
Eddie Johnson wasn't on that team. I don't think. I think it was.
I think in 2010 he was on?
I think it was Herc. I think it was Robbie Finley.
Edson Buttle. McBride's gone.
Yeah, was Josie was in that team, right?
Yeah, Bradley was, so yeah, Josie would be.
Yeah, well, he was 2009.
I mean, the same class. That's why I think of them always together. They're the same U20 class.
Yes, right, exactly. I don't know.
Here's a different take on your hypothetical. Here, this may be a more hypothetical, and to pick your poison for you on a hypothetical here. All right. So
you want me to tee you up, or no?
Anytime I say it, I want you to do it.
That could verge in some dangerous areas. Anytime I say it, I want you to do it. I'm just putting that out there.
Would you rather have, in terms of dual nationals that could have played for the U.S. in 2010?
Ooh,
which of these two players would have helped the team more?
Don't do it to me.
Jermaine Jones in midfield, or Giuseppe Rossi, who had a fantastic 2010 World Cup up top. Which one of those two players would have improved that team more?
The 2010, like for every tournament for the U.S. men's national team, the tournament happened on a razor's edge, right? So you look at the history of this team and you go back, 94, they make it into the knockout rounds because they're one of the third place qualifiers. They beat Colombia on an own goal. That's just not lucky necessarily, but it's fortunate. 98, they didn't play well. Steve Sampson got it all wrong, terrible formations and all of that stuff. Maybe that one you toss out. 2002, if they don't get a little bit of help, they don't make the knockout rounds. Of course, they beat Portugal. That was a big deal, but they're not in that game against Mexico unless some things go their way in the group stage. In 2006, they didn't play horribly. They just lost to Ghana. They just couldn't figure out how to.
Was it Croatia? Was that the other first round game? Or was it Croatia? Or was it?
I think
it's an Eastern European team. I can't remember which one it was. Bosnia Herzegovina.
No, I think it was Croatia. I think it was. So
that game was pretty bad all around.
Okay, but then they fight to
the Italy game was pretty good.
Right, they fight to the death with Italy, and it just doesn't go their way in terms of the points. Right, 2010 draw against England, which they were. I'm not gonna say they were fortunate totally, but Clint Dempsey could have been sent off in the first 2 minutes of that game with an elbow that he went up for. I may have the timing a little bit off. They get a dumb goal when Robert Green spills it. So they get a point out of England. They go into the game against Slovenia. They're down 2-0 at halftime and have to charge their way back. Give them credit for that, but they were down 2-0. And then obviously you have the Algeria game where it took the 91st minute to get a goal. I'm just saying that the razor thin margin between succeeding and not. And so when you think about, would you rather have Giuseppe Rossi or Jermaine Jones, what is the deciding factor here? Like, what is it that you're missing most? And 2010's team got by without a top-level goal scorer like a Giuseppe Rossi.
Well, we're talking national team, and I think there's a caller in line that may want to talk national team today. Now.
Oh, okay. I mean, John in Dallas, you're on the line. I don't know what you want to talk about. What's up, John?
Hey, boys. It's John Carlton in Dallas. How's it going?
Oh, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's nice to see you guys back in form.
We're not completely in form yet, but that's coming. We're getting there.
I haven't played soccer in 2 months, dude. There's nothing about me in form right now.
Jared's form is round, apparently.
Yes, very round right now.
I think that's probably everybody. But no, I wanted to bring up the Americans who played in the Bundesliga today. Pretty good day for Weston McKennie, who got a goal, and Tyler Adams, who played a good game today. Looks like these guys are really starting to achieve what we thought they would be.
What was the shocking result, John? Because I'll admit that I was distracted by the Premier League and the shiny lights of that thing. So what was the result here for Schalke? Because I know they hadn't won in 13 straight.
And they lost again today, 2-1. But McKinney scored the goal that got them back into the game in about the 60th minute. So they had time, and McKinney kept creating little pockets of space and chances, and he had good long balls, and he's just dominant in the air. He's loping around the field like a gazelle. I've never seen the guy. His engine is really high right now.
Did you feel, John?
I'm excited for this guy.
Did you feel that they relieved him of some of his defensive responsibilities in this game, and that's what allowed him to be such a positive threat going forward?
There's no doubt that he was more forward, though. I must say, if you go look at Crank's videos, some of these guys that post these immediate videos on Twitter, I don't want to get them in trouble, but they'll post these nice 2-minute 20 highlights of our guys over there. I mean, minutes after the game. Cranks is one. USMNT videos, I think, is one.
Yeah, that's one. And
yeah, and they get these videos out, and if you just go watch, I mean, he's on offense. He's always turning the ball. Like, as soon as he gets the ball, he's looking into space, and as soon as he's looking into space, he's finding a runner.
Yeah,
and it's spot on. And Tyler Adams was the same way today. I mean, I want to get onto him in just a second because he's been pretty good down the stretch too. But McKinney is he's dominant all over the field. But what I wanted to say was, if you look at those videos, you'll see McKinney too, and the tight spaces on defense, especially on set pieces, doing the dirty work. Mm-hmm. He's all over it.
Mm-hmm. So the problem then is, you've got to have someone that's going to be a stay-at-home defender with him then in the middle of the field. If you're going to give him that freedom, is that Tyler Adams? Maybe it is. But I'll tell you right now, that characteristic that you just described, where he's looking upfield instantly anytime he gets the ball, that's like talking dirty to Greg Berhalter. Because honestly, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants that instant change of a transition into offense from wherever the ball is won, and instantly like spring, you know. So maybe that might be the key why Weston McKennie has a role to play in terms of not just contributing to the national team, but maybe talking about what is the identity of the national team.
I can see that. I think he is obviously he's in a decent run of form. The team is just atrocious.
Tyler Adams is just chalk though at this point. Like
they're so bad. Chalk is bad.
Well, you have to think of Tyler Adams as that, but the question is his position. That's the question. John, you want to give a quick report on Tyler Adams before we let you go?
Yeah, so Tyler Adams was really solid today. Go watch again if you can find his little twit vids online. There is a good compilation out there right after it came the game wrapped up, and yeah, he was just solid as ever. He's a guy that I never was like a big buyer into. Like everybody always promoted Tyler Adams, and I couldn't quite see it. And especially when he got injured in Germany, he's been out for 16, 18 months. And he has a really subtle game that I'm just coming to appreciate. And it's like you said, Jared, if we can fit these parts, I don't know what Berhalter has in mind. I think that's what all USMNT fans are really wondering right now is what's in this Wizards laboratory going on right now. But if he can find a way to fit together, a Tyler Adams, a McKennie, Pulisic, Ulianes, Gio Reyna, all these guys we've got coming, and Sargent, if we can find some strikers, if he can find a way to put that midfield together, though, if McKennie's in a linking role, I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty hopeful. I feel like we've got something. But
John,
let's see if we can get through this.
Since we're talking Bundesliga and Americans over there, have you got, and Jason, you and I haven't discussed this guy in weeks.
Who?
But have you been able to watch or see any documentation on Terrence Boyd and the season he's having? In the
third division.
12 goals, 9 assists, Jason.
In the third division. I mean,
12 goals, 9 assists.
He scored 0 goals for Toronto in MLS, and now you're like,
okay, but that's nice and all. But do you have any striker scoring close to 12 goals that's American right now anywhere?
I don't think form is your answer at the striker position.
What more could he do to make a case for himself, though, than 12 goals and 9 assists?
Play at a better level than the third league.
Okay, so how do you do that? You perform.
Sure. Then he gets a new contract, and he's.
I'm not telling you. Listen, I'm not saying cap him right now and bring him up. I'm asking John, have you seen anything to give you an idea of what that represents?
Are you watching the third division, John?
What is he plays for Duisburg? Is that right?
I can't pronounce
something like that. Yeah,
Duisburg. Yeah,
Duisburg. He's second or third division striker. You're right. He didn't come over here and do anything. But if that's the links we have to go to get a striker right now, obviously that's not ideal. I'm hopeful for Sargent. Maybe Jesus Ferreira will pan out. I'm not hopeful too much on the striker tip on that, but
yeah,
a pocket 9 kind of a player, maybe a Kun Aguero type player. But we lack for that position right now, and so Jared, you're only fair to ask it. My God, I mean, fuck, we have nothing at that position right now, really to speak of. It's been a long time, and I'm not putting any stake on Josie. So
okay,
but that brings me to a point, Jason. Okay, if you need to bring in a striker right now, you're going to bring in Josh Sargent for doing 20 minutes at Werder Bremen, doing nothing. Instead of
another
guy that's actually producing something. We brought in Jordan Morris from Stanford.
I understand that. That was also a Jurgen Klinsmann special.
Okay,
so
but he was right in the end, right? Was he was right in the end?
Right, not right. I mean, yeah, okay, sure.
No, dude, you're just finding a reason to poo-poo. The fact is, we have no one producing.
All I'm saying is that, first of all, you haven't seen a second of Terrence Boyd play soccer in the third division in Germany. That yes, while he's scoring a bunch of goals, that doesn't mean that the caliber of the player is up to what you want. Look,
if form matters,
I don't think it does. I don't think it matters as much as you think it does in this case. I mean, I guess if you absolutely have nobody else, Tyler.
So you think that Josh Sargent has more confidence right now as a striker than Terrence Boyd?
I don't know about that. No, I'm not saying he has more confidence, but that doesn't mean he's not better right now.
So if you had to pull in a striker right now, you bring in Josh Sargent.
Jared, if you call Terrence Boyd in for a friendly and he scores 3 goals on Jamaica, are you going to be beating the drum for him to be the striker going into the next World Cup?
If he keeps doing it.
I think the level matters. I'm just saying, I think the level matters. And even though Josh Sargent plays for a bad team, he plays in the top division in Germany. Even if he's getting 20 minutes.
So you'd rather have a striker that has splinters in his butt instead of goals in the
he
net.
doesn't have splinters in his butt. He's playing. He's just playing for a bad team. He's getting minutes, just not for a good team. So I don't. Again, he's playing against better competition. You throw
agreed there. I'm not going to deny you
Terrence
that.
Boyd into a World Cup qualifier against.
That's not what I said.
So what are you going to use him for then?
I'm just saying, if there was a striker and you had a game next week, I don't know that I would call Josh Sargent instead of him.
You're creating a situation where you can justify calling in Terrence Boyd.
That's the only situation we would be talking about right now.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
Everything else is like so far away, it's not worth talking about.
That's probably true.
It's kind of true. It's kind of true, Jared. But we got to wait on Tim Weah's health as well. And
not a strike.
And also, I wanted to ask you, also, Jared, I don't know if you guys commented on this, the Andy Nahar signing to LAFC. Jared, I think I saw a tweet you put out on that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing on the Andy Nahar. I think it's a good signing. If you can bring Andy Nahar into your team, that's a great thing. I just wonder what LAFC's doing, because now they got like 6 fullbacks, and basically what they did, not as exactly, but basically what they did is they traded Walker Zimmerman for Andy Nahar.
Yeah.
And so,
by the way, do we know why Walker Zimmerman was dismissed? Do we know why he was shipped away?
Zimmerman?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, is because they had faith in the guys behind him, and they thought they could make a better deal to get a better quality player on the wing.
They put a lot on a
okay,
kid.
So go ahead with your point. Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate the call, John. Thanks a lot for the info on the Bundesliga Americans. Jared, I know you were taking a shot at the center back quality at LAFC.
It's not even a Galaxy like blind thing. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I know it's not. Some people on Twitter, who will go nameless, decided that it was a Galaxy bitterness thing, but
I didn't read it like that.
Okay, well, there was definitely a question.
I think when you have a Galaxy scarf over your eyes in your picture, everyone assumes that everything you're going to say has that lean. But I mean, that's the burden I put on myself by always being a clown. But in this case, it's hard for me to see. I mean, there's a Tristan Blackman, I think, is the guy that they're investing in over there.
That's the kid that they put. It really, and actually, I don't even think he ended up starting at center back, because they went with Jakovic right in the playoffs last year.
Not the
playoffs, the Champions League this year. They went with Jakovic. Yeah, that was a weird one for me. You dumped Walker Zimmerman, who, while people may have different opinions on Walker Zimmerman, was certainly a top 10 center back in Major League Soccer.
People saying Eddie Segura is the other one.
Okay. But I mean, again, is that going to be good enough for them?
But you got Jordan Harvey, you got Andy Nahar now, you got Blackman if he's going to end up being a center back, and they have, I think, 1 or 2 others too. I'm blanking on who else they have, but they have a ton of fullbacks, man. And I just, for my money, I think Walker Zimmerman's a real deal, and I was really surprised that you would leverage that. But Bob Marley has a style he wants to play, and it's run and gun. If this helps him do it, then
So again, I'm catching up. We only had 2 games in the regular season, and my brain has punched out all of this information, feeling that it didn't need it anymore. But they let Bedishore walk, right? So he's no longer there. That would leave. So you have Tristan Blackman. You have Mohamed El Munir. You've got Jordan Harvey, Dejan Jakovic, who we just talked about.
True center back.
Diego Palacios, 20-year-old from Ecuador. They just signed him. Adrian Perez.
How do they have so many international?
Oh, sorry. Adrian Perez is a forward, but he is from Ontario, California. So shout out to him.
There you go. I'm torn.
Eddie Segura.
LAFC, but he's from Ontario.
Eddie Segura. And that's it. That's the defenders. So, yeah, you've got Eddie Segura and Tristan Blackman, who can play center back. And Jakovic. That's.
So the question is, does that lineup look better? Does that back four look better as it stands right now, or with Zimmerman in place of Nahar? I would take Zimmerman, but maybe I'm just more conservative, and I'm not there every day seeing.
Yeah, you like guys who run hard.
But unfortunately,
I like big.
I need more than talent.
Big strapping corn-fed dudes playing center back.
I want to mention a couple things. Enjoy the party. I want to mention a couple things here. One, the Golden Boy list came out. It's 100 names, so it's very deep. We pretty much know Erling Haaland is going to win that award. There's almost no doubt about it. But on that list,
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
By the way, I'm not sure about that drop. I'm going to have to work on that for Gio.
It just needs to be a little bit louder.
Maybe. Also, since it's there, and this is how my brain works. Did you know that Anthony Robinson's nickname is Jedi? Did you know?
I
that?
just only know that because his Twitter name has it in it.
Apparently, he picked it when he was a kid, and he's been called Jedi his entire life.
That's a hardcore move.
That is a move.
If I still had to represent all the things I did when I was like 13, 14, like parents, tell your kids out there, be careful what you put on the internet when you're 13 and 14. We didn't have to worry about that.
The other,
he's got to be Jedi for the rest of his life.
The other name, American name on the Golden Boy list was
who we haven't even thought about.
Well, he's kind of locked in already. Like we're already taking him for granted, right? We are.
Well, it's just with Eredivisie deciding not to come back.
Well, that's
he's not even in the radar right now.
On the list. The other thing is that since Premier League came back today, you got games on Friday, games on Saturday, games on Sunday. I'm sure that Nicky Soup and Sausage is just pumped for that Europa League qualification run. I think I still got the Europa League to go win it and maybe qualify for the Champions League too. But I should mention that Christian Pulisic, is going to be coming back. We don't know yet what Frank is going to do with him.
It'll be interesting because when we last left our hero, he was sidelined with injury and had a really good form and through a couple weeks in December, then kind of fell out of favor a little bit, then got injured. And so now it's just a matter of what is it really, where is he at in the pecking order?
Yeah.
It's going to come down to him, Mount.
Now I saw two Chelsea experts on the Athletic UK put out their preferred lineups, and I'm not saying that they were trying to get in Frank's head necessarily. They were just saying these are the lineups we would play, and both of them had Pulisic on the left side. So maybe that's an encouraging thing. He looks to be
Lampard loves to tinker though, man.
Yeah, and if Frank Lampard wants to base his lineup on TikTok performances, Pulisic's in, dude.
No, he's not. He tripped over the ball.
That was only one time.
He went full Gerrard, dude.
You give him.
You can't ever go full Gerrard.
You have to give him credit for willing to put himself out there and be embarrassed in front of everybody, Jared. That shows heart.
Oh, man, I feel like someone hit the send button before he was ready.
You think that's what happened? Oh, maybe be more protective of the image. Is that what you're trying to say?
Listen, to go back to what John Carlos was saying is that we have potential right now to have a key number of young players really performing at some of the best leagues. And it's been a long time since we've been able to say that, especially with the ages. I don't think we've ever been to say it with the ages that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that dream team scenario is coming together where, oh my God, did you see Tyler Adams played and Weston McKennie played and Pulisic played all in one weekend?
Oh, sorry. Let me throw this one on the pot too. Chris Richards made the team for Bayern Munich as they sewed up the title. He didn't play, but the fact that he got to dress shows that he's on a path towards the first.
What is he? Team. Is he 20, 19? What is he?
I don't have his age in front of me, but he's in that he's in that zone. And what I was going to say before I remembered about Chris Richards is that it seems as though we've got a glut at the sort of wide attacking positions. That's Gio Reyna, that's Pulisic, that's Ulysses Llanes, who I guess can play as a forward, but we're not putting him into that category yet.
I just think he'd have a partner if he'd been a 2 minutes.
Nicky Soup and Sausage.
I'm just a little disappointed that Jared didn't ask for a scouting report of Julian Green.
I heard Julian Green actually scored last weekend.
What level was he playing at? I couldn't even tell you.
Second division, a level above Terrence Boyd. Give Julian Green some love, Jared. Maybe he's another wide attacking player. Maybe he's another guy we should be looking at here.
Man, anyone that's scoring goals, we should be looking at.
Okay, yeah. If you're scoring goals,
we may be starting again. Just to let me give you a temperature check real quick on where we are in strikers. Giassi Zardes may start for us in a World Cup. I don't mean to scare you. But that's
not going to happen. I'd be willing to bet, right? It's 2020, right? Now we have to qualify, and knock on wood. And I don't have a knock on.
Right now, you're one injury away from Giassi Zardes starting.
What's my button I can push to? No, that's not the right button. The button that I can push to bring good luck here. I don't know.
Oh, would you look at that? An absolute fire.
That doesn't seem right either. I don't know. I'm thinking. I would be willing to bet you. I'm going to put myself on the line. It's been a long time since you and I had a good in-show bet.
Oh.
Giassi Zardes will not start. I'm not sure you're betting. You don't want to bet for this, right?
No, God, no. I ain't taking this bet.
Because you don't have to root against everybody but Giassi Zardes?
I don't want to have to ever see him start.
I don't think it's going to happen in a World Cup. Maybe in the qualifiers, you might end up with Jossie's artist.
Don't forget. I believe, and if I'm correct, Edson Buttle was scoring for Ingolstadt in the second Bundesliga, and we brought him to a World Cup.
That sounds about right.
If I'm correct, I believe that's what was.
I don't remember where Edson was at the time of the 2010 World Cup, but it's very possible. And again, Robbie Findlay went to that World Cup, and he was playing for RSL at the time. So,
Are we really that far different?
I mean, you would hope. You would hope that there would be, somebody else who can come along.
Man, I hope Josh Sargent grows a right foot.
Let's just say a quick prayer, please. Josh Sargent, become a good striker, so we don't have to start Jossie's artist in the 2022 World Cup.
Maybe we should ask him for them to spend money on better players around him. I don't know, but
who? Werder Bremen?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that could be part of it too. They're gonna go down for the first time in 40 years. So they're gonna.
Here's the thing about Josh Sargent. They scored 5 goals this week, I think, and he didn't get any of them.
Yeah, they had a good week. You're right.
5-goal win.
You're right, but
he didn't get any of them.
But he did get some love from the manager.
Jason, his job's to get goals.
But if you have a Christian Pulisic, if you have a Giovanni Reina, if you have there's a couple other guys coming through. If Tim Weah gets help, actually, he's not one I want to count on.
But I really want the drop from Office Space. So what would you say it is you do here? Like 5 goals in that team, and he couldn't get any of them.
I know. All right, we should wrap this up. We're going to go do the bonus show. Again, if you want to listen to the bonus show, you got to be a Patreon member. It's patreon.com/JDandTheRod. It's just a couple of bucks a month to get access to the feed, to get access to the Slack where things are popping off all the time. We were just talking about maybe doing a mixtape for John Hughes, Jared. That's a big one.
That's a big mixtape.
That's going to require a lot of thought. We may do that down the line. That's the kind of stuff happening in the Slack, so make sure you go join up.
And we didn't even get to the odds on the tournament.
We didn't. Well, we got time before the tournament. We can come back to the odds. And we don't know who's going or not. That may change the odds, right? We don't know if everybody's going to this tournament. So that's out there. Maybe Cincinnati signs a world-class player, and suddenly they are going to be favorites to win the group. You never know. Miracles.
5 world-class players.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Dubois?
No, not unless Yap Stone's going to play center back for Cincinnati.
I mean, he might be an upgrade. He might be an upgrade. All right. Again, patreon.com/JDandTheRod, Twitter @JDandTheRod, Instagram JDandTheRod Show.
If you go become a Patreon member right now, you can get in and talk for our coach draft for the five-a-side
coach draft coming. And I've already been admonished. Jared has told me that I'm not allowed to say much. Okay, there's good reason. But let me just say that I think that people that are Patreon members and are listening to the bonus show are going to get some information that we're going to be putting out. So first, I want to make sure that that's clear.
Yeah,
there's some big things coming down the line, and if you're a Patreon member, you're going to hear about them first. That's part of the benefit of joining up. So go do that. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Duh and or hello.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes.
Who asked those questions? Okay, this is the guy behind the guy behind the guy. What? We just become best friends. Yep. Oh, would you look at that? An absolute firecracker.
Damn, dog. That's in a box.
Duh and or hello. I wouldn't be caught dead in a sweater.
What are we doing?
Finish him.
That's him, Iceman.
Eddie, what have you done for me lately?
Jay Rodius.